How do you know that Malbongo exists? I can see Malbongo.
Can I pause you?
But there are things, of course, that I cannot touch.
Like piano, when we on stage we kill I know. Streaming my name, baby, I know. Know if you trap at all, I see it at all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great joy that I'm welcoming you all into the first episode of the Perspective Podcast. Now here I'm with my brothers, the brethren. We are here to talk, we are here to give up the perspective about the ideas that we have and that we share. But before we even start, I'm going to introduce myself, the one who's hosting this podcast. I'm Ikamalo Jablani. I'm Walter Wabaza. So I'm going to allow my guests as well to introduce themselves. So you can start my part on my side.
Well, mina by name, Go Sitleko, Sihlentsebe. Of course, I feel delighted and very welcomed to be, a part of this podcast, and I think we will have a great discussion with my dear brothers here. Yeah. It was very sudden that we had this conversation about having this podcast. I actually didn't know this will be the first episode, so I'm actually very delighted that my brother here invited me and my dear brothers here. They will soon introduce themselves. That will be part of this amazing podcast, and I'm looking forward to the further discussion. And the most amazing thing is that, I'll leave it to my brothers this side.
Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Maibongo Kabinde. So I'm also honored, and delighted to be part of this podcast, and looking forward to Mike. I'm also looking forward to having to learn from what other brothers are going to say, just like people always say, iron sharpens iron. Yeah, just like men will sharpen another man. So I'm looking forward to learning what other guys are saying, and let me pass it over to my brother.
Hi, I'm Monet.
Yeah.
And as well, it's an honor to be here with these gents, hoping that we can share ideas and learn from one another.
All right, gentlemen. Now you know my brothers here, you know their names. So before we even start, I'm going to introduce what we are basically about, right? Why?
We don't know what we will be speaking about. So
why are we doing this podcast, or why do I call it the Perspective Podcast? So basically, what I've realized is I really enjoy having conversations with people. I really enjoy getting to know how they think about certain things, and what are their ideas and thoughts with regard to certain things or certain subjects. I really find interest in that. So I really believe also, if you are someone who's like that, who also finds interest in knowing what other people's views are on certain things, then I guess this is your channel. This is your child, man. So I'm very, 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 very delighted to be starting this. I wanted to do this for so long. And so we are here, we finally landed. And so hopefully we're going to be here for quite some time.
Sure.
Hopefully go for quite some time.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of topics that we are going to be.
Let's give him a round of applause, man. It's final. It's here.
We're here. So these are the kind of topics that we'll be talking about. So we'll be talking about lifestyle, which is basically will be including health and fitness there. And we'll be talking about gender and sexuality. We'll be talking about relationships. We'll be talking about religion and spirituality. We'll be talking about the way of dress or the dress code, music, social media, philosophies, even politics and education. We'll basically be talking about anything and everything that we can talk about. We're not limited to anything, because you see, the thing is, I really believe in as much as we have differences, that we can still live together. We can still live together in spite of our differences, to a certain extent though. So we're going to dive into that. So here's what I want to say. So now you are born, you realize that you exist, right? And as you exist, the first relationship that you have, the relationship with your mother. So immediately you're in a relationship now. But the question is, how do you know that you exist? What is existence? How do you know that other people around you, they exist? How do you know whether this guy exists? You know, so we'll be dealing with anything, man. Every word will be defining and trying to understand what do you mean when you say this, because I really find interest, you know, when we talk about these things. Now it becomes philosophical in a way, you know. Yeah. So now you exist, you have a relationship with your mother. Now the world is being imposed upon you. You know, the traditions. You are told that you are a man, and you are told you are a woman, or you're a male or female, boy or girl. You know, you are taught different cultures. Not really different culture. You are taught the culture, the tradition of your own parents, right? You are told this is what is right, this is what is wrong. You know, this is the religion that is right, this is the religion that is wrong. You've been taught all these things, and I truly believe that when they are teaching you these things, they are teaching you out of honesty, because they believe that they are right. You know, and of course you also get into relationships, friendships, and I believe some relationships are by choice, like friendship for an example, and also romantic relationships. You really choose, even though not consciously sometimes. Sometimes it's subconscious, and you start realizing, okay, me and these dudes we are friends. You know, so maybe let's start there. Let's start there. Now you are born. Now you're existing. Now the question is, how do you know you exist? How do you know you exist, Monet?
We're gonna start that side, right?
Yeah, we can start anyway.
Yeah.
How do you know you exist?
How do I know I exist?
Yeah. Maybe before we go there, what is existence?
It's very difficult to define.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very difficult to define. It will be
Yeah.
difficult to say or to prove that I exist.
Yeah.
I think Rene Descartes says that I think, therefore I am.
Sure.
However, the question becomes really is that if one is in a coma and really is not thinking,
Yeah.
could say it's not thinking, do they not exist?
Yeah.
So it becomes very difficult to prove existence. I'm not sure how I would go about answering that question, or
Yeah,
perhaps
yeah.
even defining it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
How
see
about-
Sihle wants to
Since you
get
wanna
it.
take it.
No. I just like the analogy, or perhaps the example that he makes about the coma.
Yeah.
Because existence is a mere thing whereby we almost, as human beings, believe that is proven by human interaction, or most things that are. If I make an example about plants and human beings,
Yep.
do you not believe that a plant exists, or do you believe that a human being exists? You know.
Yes.
So I think those two things are both perfect examples of existence, but a plant is always silent, just like a person in a coma.
Yeah.
So I just like to add to what Monet is saying is that a person that's in a coma which means that a person that is dead is also in existence, because they do not say anything. So which means anything that is of the Lord's creation is existence.
Okay.
So which means that existence is something that's greater than everybody. You know what I'm saying? So the question of existence is surrounded by so many questions.
Okay.
And I don't
Question
think that
itself.
us as ourselves in entirety can actually answer those questions, but we can say that existence is such a thing because we partake in it.
All right.
Right now we are having a mere conversation,
Yeah.
and this is such a small portion of everything that's happening in the world, but
Yeah.
we can beg to say that this
All
is
right.
existence. So
All right.
existence is something that I believe we can't answer ourselves. Just I believe that Monet and I share a common we share common ground.
Yeah,
If my Bongwe differs,
Yeah, of
or
course,
he can share a different perspective, and I'm interested to know if he
of
does.
course. Yeah, that's why we're here. We're interested in anyone's perspective. All right, my brother, you can
It's
you
a
can
hard
take it.
question.
It's a really hard question. Yeah, it's a tough one. But again, I think I'll have to look at the issue of being. You know, because existence has also go with being. You know? The interactions that we have right now. You know, it's because we exist. You know, and again, the fact that something is not seen. I think someone said the fact that something is not seen does not mean it does not exist.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I think it has to go with in the vacuum, the spectrum in which we have to answer the question, which what then is existence? You know, because the other things that we can't see that exist. You know. So
That is
I think we
perfect.
won't be doing enough justice when saying we're trying to define what existence is. But according to my definition, the little that I have, I think it's that interaction that we have around, and you can't tell yourself that I exist. I don't know if I exist, but the interaction, that we have as human beings, he exists. He's a guy because we interact.
That's true.
I think that's just.
I think that's the most amazing thing, and what I can decipher from every single person that has spoken so far is that existence is just more about belief. It's more about belief that I believe that you exist. I believe that I am talking to you right now. I believe that I can see you right now. And it may happen that maybe this color, this is red to me.
That's true.
I like to always refer to something that I call the spectra of normality. The spectra of normality is almost to say that if I believe this is red and you believe this is red and you believe this is red and you believe this is gray, the spectra of normality says that this is red because that's what's normal around the majority of people. So which means that existence is a belief, which means a belief is not so 100%. It's maybe even if it's 90 or 80.
It is. Okay, I'm gonna give you the chance, Monet. Cool. You see, I did say, a few minutes ago that I believe that we can live together despite our differences, right? Now, to a certain extent, there's a reason why I say to a certain extent, because there are some differences that we have. It can be beliefs, it can be, of course, beliefs that are going to influence how you talk to people, how you behave as an individual. There are some certain behaviors that you cannot tolerate as an individual that are affecting you negatively, that are coming from another person. Those kind of differences, they're hard to accept. So an individual has to, therefore, learn to compromise himself or his or her own individuality, that percentage of him or her being disrespectful, for an example, because it's hard to be around someone disrespectful, for an example. So what I'm trying to say with this is that we are not going to agree on certain points, and that is acceptable, man. Sure. I don't see how you are negatively affected when we don't see eye to eye, unless it comes to a point where now maybe I'm hurting you because of the idea that I uphold, So I believe, yes, we're not gonna see certain things the same way. We may not agree on everything. That's cool. That's fine. So the reason why I ask this is so that I can share my thoughts on what I think existence is. How do I know that I exist? I can say because I'm conscious. Being conscious to me basically means I can realize that I'm existing. I can realize that I'm talking right now. I can realize that I have hands. Of course, I was taught this is called hands. Of course, you were taught, man. A lot of things you were taught. You accepted them, So how do I know I exist? Because I can realize things. I can realize that I'm awake, Without me, if I'm in a coma, for an example, as you said, therefore, according to me, the person that is in a coma will not exist. But how do I know that another object or any person or anything external to me exists? And that thing must be in contact with me with 5 senses. It's either I can see it, or
smell it,
I can smell it,
hear it,
or I can hear it, or I can touch it, or taste it, of course. Now, it doesn't have to meet all those requirements, though. Because, for an example, you cannot touch the words. Can you touch the word as I'm talking?
But you can hear
But you can hear the words. So words exist.
But I
you can.
So here's the question.
And I feel that we are going on the same wavelength.
Let me finish the point before I allow you to talk, right? Okay. So I'm just basically saying the way I define existence to me with external objects, it's either I can touch those things, taste those things, hear those things, can see those things. I'm missing the 5th one. Come on.
Taste.
I did mention taste. Which one?
So it's hear, taste, it's touch, it's smell.
Yes. So if I can, because, bro, if I cannot be touched by that thing or be in contact by that thing on those 5 senses, in no way I can say, therefore, I heard someone speaking. In no way I can say, therefore, I've touched someone. How do you know that Malbongo exists?
But majority. So existence may not be something that even exists at all.
So
He made-
just wanted to say this. I just wanted to say things, of course, that I cannot smell.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to meet all the requirements, but so long as
But
it is touching
I think,
one of the senses, bro, that thing
I
exists.
think because I believe that this is an intellectual conversation. I think that we need to speak about the most abstract stuff. And in English, there's different types of nouns, and we dwell within nouns that are called abstract nouns. And abstract nouns are such things such as emotions, like love. Like, if you cannot feel love, are you then...
But how does that
wait,
feel, man?
Can I just?
No. If you cannot physically feel love,
Okay.
you cannot physically feel love, but
Feelings are physical.
feelings are not physical.
I mean,
Can I
they're
just
physical in a way
jump
that
in?
you
No,
cannot-
feelings
you cannot-
are not
you cannot
necessary.
touch them.
Feelings,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
This is a feeling. That is a feeling.
Yeah, but you touch
That is
me
a physical feeling. Feelings are things that can happen in all spectrums. In my belief.
So I have a question.
Okay.
Do you mind
get it.
asking me a question?
Yeah, okay. It's
So
All right.
this might scare you guys, but one of the questions that I've posed to myself or have struck me was the fact that I've never experienced anyone's love. And what I mean by this is that when I experience love, let's say perhaps for my partner, I'm really interpreting their expression of love through my own emotions. So am I really experiencing their love, or am I experiencing my love through my own emotions?
All right.
Because
yeah,
these
okay.
things are not transferable.
All right. Before we get into
So have
love
you
thing,
really experienced love from your partner?
we can minimize the existing question or anything,
Yeah.
because right now is you're in a relationship,
Yeah.
kind of a question. We speak about love, whether from a parent or a partner. We can also go there right now, no problem. Because basically introducing the topics, you know.
Yeah,
so
basically
now
we can't prove existence, man.
Yeah,
Like,
we're
we just-
not gonna dwell much on existence. So guys,
So
we've passed the existing thing. We're gonna come back, of course.
We can't release
on other episodes.
we
Right.
all agree. I think we
Yeah.
all agree on the same thing.
No, I
Now
don't
we're
think
not
it's fair to
really,
agree
we're not
on
really agreeing on the same thing, but we're just passing by. Unless you still want to say
I think that
something
the
about
first
existence.
question was quite hard.
Yeah.
No, I think it was quite hard, and I think we were all very brief about it.
Okay.
And I think we are all accepting the
Then we can
briefness
move
of the
on.
question.
Yeah, we
we
just
can
move
move
on.
on.
Just
Yeah.
move about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen. So right now you are
I
speaking
posed the
about
question.
love, right?
Yeah.
So before we look at that question, all right, Mel. The first thing I want to ask is, what is love? Because the way you define love,
Yeah.
it's gonna be the medium that you use to judge whether you're experiencing love or not.
Yo,
And you guys
Jesus.
can have different definitions of what love is, you know. So this is why you will say, maybe I believe that if I'm sharing something with you for free, that's an act of love. But if you don't believe that, well, that's not how you define love. You didn't say, no, this guy didn't show love to me.
Oh yeah,
You know?
that's true.
Yeah. So it depends how you define it, how you define love. So what is love? Maybe we can also tell them that.
I think love is very difficult to explain, to define.
MIG, you're asking difficult questions.
Yeah, I mean, but that's why we're here. You
That's
know,
why
to
we're
try
here.
and attempt
Go deeper, man.
stuff and
Go deeper, man.
Yes, sir.
our perspectives.
Yeah.
I think love is quite difficult to define, but I think regardless of our inability to define love,
Gonna take a quick break. You know. Yeah, we're just gonna take. All right, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, man, I'm alone right now. My brothers are no longer with me. But that was it, man. In the comment section, what do you want us to talk about based on the questions that I've read for you on the introduction, based on the topics that I introduced there. You can also comment what topics you would like us to cover on the following episode. You know, and then based on the majority of the comments or people that are suggesting, we're gonna take it from there and cover that topic on the next episode. But otherwise, see you next time, gentlemen. Cheers.
I think we can appreciate that we get to experience it.
All right.
You know, we get to experience it.
Yeah, well, we're going to consume now. We're just